there's no way that Dr. Murray would pump Michael Jackson full of propofol sufficient for major surgery and walk out that room. It's not going to happen.
All right, that's Ed Chernoff, lawyer for Dr. Murray, speaking about his client. There you see a picture of City Hall. Right next to City Hall is the Los Angeles County Criminal Courthouse, where Dr. Conrad Murray is less than 24 hours away from facing trial regarding the death of Michael Jackson. He's accused of involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, and we know that This Is It choreographer Kenny Ortega is going to be the first witness. We've just learned that, and we've been discussing whether or not Michael Jackson's two older kids, Prince Michael and Paris, are going to testify. And I'll leave it to this gentleman, Ryan Smith, to come up with the best reason why they shouldn't. He was telling me over the break, Michael Barnes, he's saying, wow, if the kids testify, it opens the door for the defense to start asking them whether they've ever seen their dad high or slurring his words. And there have been reports, which I certainly can't independently confirm, that yes, the kids have seen that.
But that again raises the question that we have to discuss here, Jane, which is that we're talking about the medical misuse of medications, perhaps based on a medical need that Michael Jackson had for chronic insomnia or chronic pain, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he was addicted. It means that he couldn't get adequate care from the healthcare system despite all of his resources, and he had to create some crude rudimentary treatment plan himself in order to get the relief that he thought. Now, he wasn't getting sleep when he thought he was getting sleep. He was getting a coma induced by anesthesia, perhaps. But indeed, this is not necessarily a case of addiction. It could just be dependence based on a medical need that was not adequately treated.
No. Because Michael Jackson said on camera in 1993 that I become hooked on painkillers. And as a recovering alcoholic,
right, but there were not painkillers in his system. Look at the autopsy report, though.
Always, but it doesn't matter. Once you are an addict, you are not, or an alcoholic, you're not supposed to take any mood-altering medications whatsoever. Like, okay, I'm a recovering alcoholic. That means I can't take Valium. That means I can't take any kind of a mood-altering medication unless basically my life depended on it. But it's not, oh, if you're an alcoholic, you just can't drink, but you can smoke pot. You're not supposed to do any mood-altering meds.
Well, what if that
I agree with you on that.
What if he wasn't abiding by that standard? Go ahead, Michael.
I agree with you, Jane. You're absolutely right, and there's no doubt about that. But we have to go back, and I hope that the prosecution will go back to the fact that this was a medical need that was untreated, and that's the issue here in this case. From the facts in this case, there are not signs of addiction in the medical definition of the word, which is that it's continued use despite the harm. He was not suffering the legal or the social or the other sorts of consequences that go with typical addiction. He might have been showing signs of dependence and perhaps drug seeking. Yes, exactly.
Yes, he was. At the time of his death, he faced 38 lawsuits. After the child molestation trial, he was $270 million in debt. Yes, there are many people who could argue at one point he owed more than $100,000 to one Beverly Hills
pharmacy. But not at the time of his death.
For prescriptions. But again, once an addict, always an addict, so I don't think it really matters. And that's where I think it's going to be hard to draw the boundaries in this case of what you can talk about and what you can't, and still be fair to Dr. Conrad Murray.
Well, let me jump in.
Especially when 2/3 of the jurors have addiction close to home.
That's a good point. Let me bring in Sonny Hostin now with a credit. No, you make a good point, Michael. Let me bring in Sonny Hostin for a second here. Sonny, and I think I'm kind of reflecting a little bit of Michael's point here. Whether he had an addiction or not, the judge has given the prosecution a great assist in this case in trying to limit everything to the day Michael Jackson died, essentially saying all the other past occasions, this is not going to be a trial about Michael Jackson's lifestyle. This is going to be a trial about Dr. Murray and what happened that night. Am I right?